Hey everyone, History Mystery Man here and back in small town America. I've been itching to get out. Can you hear those bells in the background? Ooh, I love it when the church bells go off in small town America. Today I'm in Salem, Indiana, where I've been living for the last 10 months or so. I've been really itching to get out, so I thought this would be a good day. I wanted to focus on the town square today in Salem, Indiana, one of the prettiest town squares anywhere, barring none. I wanted to sort of get a local temperature from the local business owners, how they're faring through the corona crisis and all that comes with it. We'll get off the square a little bit today too, but today's focus will be mostly on the town square, and why not? Look at that, the beautiful Washington County Courthouse, the big bell tower in the corner. That is one of the most fascinating town square courthouses I've ever seen. And some of the buildings in the square actually predate the county courthouse. So just a fascinating little place, and I wanted to bring it to you today. Welcome to Salem, Indiana, where the History Mystery Man is here, loud and clear, ready to do his thing. Welcome aboard. Let's go see what's inside. The buildings in the town square here are really well preserved. This one's especially beautiful right on the corner. Link's Clothing and Shoes, an old-fashioned small-town clothing store. I bet these things are dinosaurs anymore, which makes this one even more interesting. I'm gonna peek inside. Hello, hello. I have no agenda other than I want to help keep small business alive in small town America. I'm especially wondering how well you're faring over the corona crisis.
Well, we lost a lot of baseball leagues this year. We had about 10 that were lined up to do, so that was a really hard hit on us. We opened 2 weeks ago, and people are slowly starting to come back in, and we've gotten a few big orders, so I think we'll be okay.
How long have you been here?
14 and a half years.
Wow. Well, do you know how far back this building goes, or what it used to be?
It was originally Berkey Brothers store. I have a really cool picture of it.
Ooh, I'll be getting that.
And it was a general store, and legend has it that it was raided by Morgan's Raiders back in the day. But it was built right before the new courthouse was built.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is small town business in small town America going to survive? And now corona, I mean, are we going to be all right?
We had our best year ever last year.
Man, that was exactly what I wanted to hear.
We did. We had our best year ever last year, and
that's so cool.
We were on trend to be even more this year, but then all this happened. So, and because we do embroidery, we do screen printing. We have boutique items that...
You're very specialized. So you are from Salem, Indiana, yes?
I am from Salem, yes.
Wow. All your life?
All my life.
Has it been a good life?
It has been.
I like hearing that.
Yeah.
Am I getting from you that you like Salem, Indiana?
We love Salem.
What do you love about it?
The people. The people, all the community support.
That's really nice.
Yes.
There's good people here.
Lots of good people.
And I'm talking to another one.
I appreciate that.
So
I really enjoyed your documentary on the Speedway.
Oh, you saw that?
I love the Speedway.
Yes. Oh, I love the Speedway too. I'm rooting for that place too. It's been here since 1947, and it's one of the great entertainment options left in Salem. And a lot of them are gone.
We went a couple times last year with our
grandsons. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, then you heard my big mouth over the PA then. Okay, cool. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
H&R Bakery, feeding an army.
You have to wear masks there? No, I'm just funny like that. Bye, guys.
See ya. This place has been in business here forever. New location here, though, in the square. They were behind the building they're in now. And how about that? Help wanted. I like seeing that. They just renovated the building, H&R Bakery. This place has the best pastries. Isn't it nice? Check it out. Completely renovated. It's beautiful, isn't it? Ah, so nice. What a great accent to the Salem Square. Are you from Salem?
Yes.
How do you like Salem, Indiana?
I love it.
That's so cool. What do you love about it?
I I just like the small town.
Yeah.
I lived away for about 13 years, and I was very glad to come back.
Where'd you go?
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, that's a stretch from Salem, Indiana.
Yeah, my husband worked in the oil field.
Oh, how interesting. So you're glad to be back?
Oh, yes.
Okay, awesome. I tell you what, do me a favor and spend some of it here to support the local businesses on the Salem Square.
I always do. Good
Oh,
for you. Where are you from?
I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I love small towns, and I wanted to focus on them, and I want them to survive, and I'm all for supporting the local businesses.
I think this town, I mean, of course, the pandemic hasn't helped anything, but I think, you know, we've got a lot of nice shops, we've got new businesses. It's a good place to live.
I'm with you all the way. Thank you so much for your time.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, ma'am. One of my favorite things to do in the Salem Square is eat at the Salem Apothecary. They have this old-fashioned soda fountain bar in there. It's so cool, and they make all their food homemade. Here, they make something fresh and new every day, just usually one or two things, but it's always so good, and it's so much fun to go inside and eat here. And the food's great, the people are wonderful, and I just love it, the Salem Apothecary. What's interesting is some of the buildings in the square predate the courthouse, and I think you're one of them, yes?
Yes, we are. There's always been a drugstore on the Salem Square in this location. The drugstore business has changed a lot, but this has always been a drugstore.
And tell me again, the building was built, I think my
In
camera.
1876. The first woman to be licensed in the state of Indiana as a pharmacist practiced here all of her professional life.
Really?
Her name was Des Rutter.
Is that her license?
That's her license from 1905 when she first became a pharmacist. This was her assistant pharmacist license in 1903. She went to Purdue and got her pharmacy degree, and then she became a licensed pharmacist, and she and her brother worked here until 1949. When her brother passed away, she then sold the business to Max Apple, and it was Apple's Drugs for many years, from 1949 to 1985, and then in 1985 became the Salem Apothecary, and that's when I came.
140 years strong. Let's
Yep.
keep it going. This Corona, has it affected your business in a big way? Or?
Well, it's affected certainly foot traffic.
Yeah.
And so we still are offering delivery and doing prescriptions and taking care of people's prescription needs, but foot traffic and people stopping in to visit, and yeah, it's affected that.
That's why I came in to visit today, trying to add to the numbers.
Yeah, and we appreciate that.
Heaven sent gifts. Nice touch here. Navy, Army, Air Force, Marines. Remember, it's Memorial Weekend. And the businesses are beginning to open in Salem, Indiana. What a beautiful little store. Looks like a little bit of everything. I wanted to check in with you to see how your business is doing. How are you faring through the Corona crisis? What's the latest?
As far as the business goes, we were down for 7 weeks. I think probably we should have been down 2 weeks. Business has not picked up yet. People change patterns. They change lifestyle. I think the media has gotten people so scared that they're afraid. I'm not saying we shouldn't be cautious. I'm not saying that the virus is not bad. I'm saying that people could have gone back to work and have done well probably a month sooner, and it's hurt the flow. I feel for people who are less fortunate than me, people who are waitresses. I don't know why small independent people like me had to close when Targets and Walmarts and they were far more at risk with the people that were there.
That's the big mystery, John, because
I don't know how you make these decisions at a federal level when you don't even know communities.
and you know, the Walmarts and the Costco's and the Targets and the Amazons, they're big business. They're going to survive, and I'm not rooting against them, but I'm very much for small town America and the survival of small business. Their sales are way up, and I mean way up at Walmart, 70%. Now, small businesses' sales are down. I'm concerned. I mean, what would the square be without the businesses, small businesses wrapped around it? If they go away, what do you have?
I don't think Salem can survive without them. I mean, we are community, and that's what it is. And I'm not opposed to Walmarts or Costco's or Targets or any of the big stores, but I don't know why. I don't understand the reasoning of federal and state governments taking my shoppers away to go to them. And that's what they did, whether they realized it or not. That's what
Is small town business, is it going to survive? I mean, where are we at? What are your thoughts?
It won't survive as it did. Of course, every day's a new normal, because one of my favorite quotes is, every day's the same and then all of a sudden everything's different. Because, I mean, things change. We don't have frontier stores on the prairie anymore. I mean, society evolves and changes. It's not the same as it was when I opened here in '81. Of course, I'm not trying to feed a family out of this store. This is a ministry, but it has to make a little bit of money. I can't keep the doors open if it doesn't.
Of course. It's not a crime to make money in America either.
No, it is not.
Last time I checked. So
I think it'll be tough to come out of this for the mom and pop shops. I really think it'll be tough.
who painted the beautiful mural on the side of your building, by the way?
That was the art department at Salem High School back, I think in the early 80s.
Really?
Yes.
The art department from the local high school did that?
Yes.
That's
There was the art
fascinating.
teacher
That makes the story even better.
And about 6 students, they worked on that for all summer.
Oh, are you from Salem, John?
Well, I'm from Campbellsburg.
Oh, okay,
So,
right down the
Washington
street.
County native, yes.
Yeah, okay.
The only time I lived out of Washington County was the 4 years that I was at Purdue.
Oh.
I'm an ag teacher and a biology teacher, and then I went ahead and got my master's in my administrator's license in education.
That's really interesting. Where do you teach, or did you teach?
I taught at West Washington, and
Oh.
I farmed for about 18 years.
That's awesome.
And then I went to vocational school, taught horticulture, and then ended up being the director of the vocational school.
How interesting. How do you like Washington counties? I mean,
We got a lot of positives. We've got good people. We've got good churches. I really think that by and large the people in Washington County intend to be good neighbors, intend to be good citizens, intend to be good people.
well,
When I was 5 or 6 years old, a guy named Picklehammer owned this building, and it was a hardware store. And my mom and dad bought me a 16-inch bicycle with training wheels on it.
from this store.
From this store. When I
That's
was
so
in high
cool.
school, Chuck Kramer owned it. It was a music store, and I bought a Epiphone guitar, which I still have. So I bought a bicycle and I bought a guitar in here, and then I bought the building and put in a Christian bookstore.
That's so interesting. That's such
Well,
a
that's
cool.
small town.
Well, that's a very cool small town story. How far back does the building go? Do you know?
It goes back to about the 1890s, I think. Sinclair built most of the buildings around here. He's the same guy that built the dome in French Lick.
Well, John, listen. Thanks for your time today. I'm hoping and praying, and I'm rooting for you, the small business owner. This is, by the way, one of the prettiest little squares. I mean, this is quite the gem you have here in Salem, Indiana. The courthouse, everything. It's quite fascinating and super charming.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
I just love this building. Is it hard to make it in small town America in the antique business? Do you hold your own? Where you at?
We're kind of holding our own.
Yeah.
It has its seasons. We're not worried about competition so much in town. We welcome that. It's a pretty grand old town.
Are you from Salem?
I'm from Salem.
Okay. Wow, a homegrowner.
For,
How cool.
Forever and ever.
I like it. Why do you live here? I mean, is it because it's home, I guess?
Well, home is a lot of it, and it's been good to me. A lot of pride in all this, and going to school here, and I taught here for.
Did you really?
Just retired.
What did you teach?
I taught art and theater, and I worked with a band with what they call color guard. And so 50 years of teaching here, and now have retired. This is just a side, it's a hobby. It's a beautiful old building.
How far back does the building go?
About probably early 80s.
That means it came before the courthouse.
It actually did.
That's interesting.
It actually was used for the courthouse. A lot of its procedures and things were going on in this building while that was being built.
How have you held up through COVID-19, Corona, and all that?
Well, of course,
You're just opening it.
we're opening tomorrow's our first day. Partner Bonnie is a school teacher and still teaching. So she's just finished a year.
Is that Bonnie back there?
This is Bonnie.
Hey, partner Bonnie.
Yeah, she's pretty wonderful.
The masked bandit.
It's me.
What do you teach?
I'm the band director here in Salem.
Oh, that is fascinating. I love the band.
Well,
You know, when I was in high school, I never paid attention to the band. It like wasn't cool or something. And then my daughters went to high school and they were twirlers. And then I began to know how wonderful the band was, and how important they are, and how cool it is. I mean, I fell in love with it.
That's great.
Yeah. This is the elementary school that used to live in Salem, right?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And you went to school there.
Yes.
Wow.
What was wonderful about this building, all the windows had a bow to them. They were not just flat glass. They all had a curve and they had to fit into the frames. I can still remember one of the rooms that had the rope that went through the room where you actually pulled it to ring the bell. Sweet memories. Smith cabinet set back in here. I can remember the playground had the smell of wood. But
That's a cool memory, smelling the lumber,
yeah,
burning
yeah,
of the wood.
I remember, things have that scent sometimes.
Yeah.
The playground had a scent.
What Salem, Indiana wouldn't do to have that building back?
It could be beautiful spaces. It could be apartments, and just a grand old lady.
I was going to ask you, Richard, what did this building used to be, like going back 100 years, however many years you want to go back?
When I was a young boy, it was a very nice, fine men's clothing store. I mean, you'd have to go to Louisville or St. Louis to find anything better. And it was called Boggs and Chesty. And before that, I think it had been, a grocery store and some other things. After that, a gentleman named Mr. Alberding, Edward Alberding. So he bought this building, which was bigger than all of his, and put a shop called The Fashion. We have a sign on the wall over here that we kept because out of respect to Mr. Alberding. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Do you think small town America is going to survive? Or
your best way of surviving is to try to stay quaint and to show the old that you had.
I suppose this is the original wood floor that goes back to the 1880s.
What's unique about this building is there was a fraternity that used the top floor and it was it's like an older opera house. James Whitcomb Riley spoke here on the 3rd floor.
Who is he?
He's a very famous Indiana poet. Hoosier poet, yeah, very famous.
Kind of like the prairie poets in Illinois, Edgar Lee Masters, Sandberg.
Right, there were wonderful vaudeville acts and things that came through and met, of all things, on the 3rd floor.
Am I allowed to peek at the 3rd floor? And I'm okay with no, I'm just... I love these old buildings.
Aren't they wonderful?
Oh, they got creaky old bones. An apartment?
Yeah.
Wow, how cool. This is awesome.
And we use it for guests or, for
Really?
a gathering. We've had receptions up here before.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
It's like Theodore Roosevelt was just here or something.
And a great view of the courthouse, too. Isn't that neat?
That's beautiful.
We love it.
Gosh, who's this?
This is Richard's parents,
Richard's parents.
Lawrence and Aurelia.
Wow, this is a really super cool little bedroom.
Thank you. We like it. And
I bet.
this piece was made in Salem.
Really?
Yes, we got this at an auction. And
Indigenous to Salem.
indigenous to Salem, yeah.
So we like
Pretty
that.
sure I know what that word means.
You did well. We had a gallery exhibit up here, and we had a dinner up here.
Yeah, these old wide plank wood floors.
Aren't they wonderful?
Imagine the feet that came across these since
Oh.
1880 something.
If they could talk.
Oh my goodness.
The third floor is very rough.
I don't care. I like rough.
Okay. All right, here we
I
go.
like rough.
And this is the main room.
Wow.
You can see the little stage, little raised area here, and yep,
That means that's where the vaudeville act would be.
that would be it.
Wow.
It's just so much
So
history.
cool.
You know,
What I wouldn't give to be planted in this room in 1896
Wouldn't
for
you
the
though?
act coming out.
wouldn't you though?
And
Absolutely.
you know, the courthouse right across the street.
Yes.
Just to have that experience.
Absolutely.
That's back when people delighted in each other.
Oh, no kidding. And being
and the
together.
and the conversations they had. They didn't have the
Absolutely.
electronics and the
You
TVs.
better believe it.
So
You
they
better
delighted
believe it.
in one another.
Yes, indeed.
That must have been magical to be alive back then. As tough as it was to live back then.
Yes. Oh, of course it had its hardships, but there were also other things, like you said, the delight in each other. Man, can't beat that. The peephole.
Oh wow, the peephole.
lodge.
Oh, I see that. For the lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could see who was there and if they wanted to admit them or not.
That's interesting.
If they had been through the proper, you know, ceremony and such.
Well, I hope you guys survive Corona and your business thrives, and
thanks.
because I love small town America and I want to see it live.
Thanks for making us a part of it.
You
Yes,
bet.
very much.
You bet. Just wanted to point it out, just north of the square, the Carnegie Library, funded by steel conglomerate Andrew Carnegie. The building was completed in 1905. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's a beautiful library and one of just a handful left in this region that still operates as its original purpose, a library. How cool is that? Ooh, for sale. That is a gorgeous little cottage. And the birds chirping make it seem even better, but that's really a pretty little house. Just off the square, really nice. And something even better back yonder. Now, just a block east of the square is the historical village here in Salem, where they have the Old Settlers Day Festival, which is really cool. The history geek in me loves every bit of that. But let's make no mistake about it. The centerpiece of the historical village, yeah, the building you see right behind me. And arguably, if it's not the oldest building in Salem, Indiana, in Washington County, it's got to be one of. Built about 1824-ish, don't hold me to the fire, about 1824. John Hay was born in that house, October 8th, 1838, and it still lives today. What's most important is that Salem, Indiana, I hope you understand how important this little building is and how much it needs to be preserved. This is the heartbeat of the historical village. Indiana. Who was John Hay? Well, John Hay was Abraham Lincoln's, one of his personal secretaries in the White House. John Hay was at Lincoln's bedside when he was dying in the Peterson House in Washington, D.C. John Hay was there when Abraham Lincoln took his last breath. Abraham Lincoln considered John Hay his son. John Hay considered Abraham Lincoln his father. Hay was a brilliant man. He would go on to be Secretary of State for Presidents William McKinley and Theodore Roosevelt. And for him, it started in that little cottage in Salem, Indiana. We got to get that thing up and running. I want to go back inside. So how appropriate is this Memorial Day weekend, the War Memorial here on the southeast corner of the Courthouse Square. So why do I do this? Why do I come to small town America and try to put the highlight on it? Well, the American experience, the American story is rooted in small town America. America wasn't born as New York City, LA, or Miami, the big cities. No, it was born in small town America, just like Salem, Indiana. And I just love this town square. I come down here and I walk around this town. I walk around 40 times and it never gets old for me. I want it to keep going. I guess that's part of the charm. It's just this little square. You want it to keep going. And I'll probably have 60, 70 hours of video production in this thing alone. So it's proof that I must love small town America, that I would commit so much time, because for what I'm getting paid, which is, hello, that's how much I love small town America and want to preserve it. I imagine myself down here in 1886 with all the settlers exchanging their stories and their goods, and I wonder how they conversed and how they dealt with one another. I do know that before electronics, their entertainment and delight was one another, and there's something very magical about that, just like there's something very magical about this town square in Salem. It really highlights the personality, grit, charm, and character of this small town. In thinking about those old settlers, I love to borrow a passage from one of my favorite Illinois prairie poets, Edgar Lee Masters. I think he sums it up really well. Why they came and why they went, why we were into their places sent, brings wonder that daily overcomes us for what we mean and what they meant. For the History Mystery Man, I'm Don Radeable. I'll see you in the next Small Town America.
Think of how it would change the world if we simply treated everybody the way we wanted to be treated.